In this video, we're going to talk about the volume of composite solids. So we're going to wrap up our discussion of volume with finding out how do you find the volume of a composite solid? Well, basically what we're going to do is much like we did with our composite figures and our composite solids when finding surface area, we're going to divide the solid into its basic solids, the solids that we know how to find volume of, and then find the volume of those basic solids, and then finally add them all together. So with a solid like this, we're going to want to break this solid into its basic solids and then find their volumes and then add them together. Again, there's a lot of ways you can divide this solid up into basic solids or basic prisms. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this guy straight down here. So I'm going to think of it like this taller prism here. I'm going to call that the blue prism. And then this smaller prism next to it, we'll call that the red prism for obvious reasons. All right, now we're going to find the volumes of these individual prisms, and then we're going to add them together. So the volume of this taller prism is going to be area of the base times height, or length times width times height. And so I need to know this distance right here. This entire distance is 18 and the shorter distance is 12. So whatever's left over, that's 6 units right here. And this is 6 units, so I know this is 6 units here. So this is going to be a 6 by 6 by 14 prism. So 6 times 6 times 14 is going to give me the volume of that blue prism. And 6 times 6 times 14 is 504 cubic units. And that's the volume of the blue prism. Now I need to find the volume of the red prism, and again, that's going to be another rectangular prism, area of the base times height. So I need length times width to give me my area of the base times the height, and this is 12 by 6 by 4, so 12 times 6 times 4 gives me a volume of 288 cubic units for the smaller red prism. So I add these together and I get a total volume of 792 cubic units. And that's the volume of my composite solid here. So again, breaking them down into familiar solids, finding their volumes, and then adding them together. So here we have a nice little house-looking shape that is a pyramid on top of a prism. So again, I'm going to find the volume of this top pyramid here, this top pyramid, and recall the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times height. So that's 1/3 times the area of the base. The base is a square, 4 by 4. So 4 times 4 times the height. The height of my pyramid is 6. So 1/3 times 4 times 4 times 6 is 32. So 32 cubic inches is the volume of the pyramid. And then I need to find the volume of the prism below in red here, this prism. So again, the volume of a prism, area of the base times height, or in this case, length times width times height. So 4 times 4 times 5, and 4 times 4 times 5 is 80 cubic inches. So that's the volume of the bottom. And I'm going to talk to my friend Adam here, add him up, to give me a total volume of 112 cubic inches. There's my total volume. So again, breaking them down, finding their volumes, and then adding them together. Here's something similar, except we don't have a pyramid. These are two prisms. It's a rectangular prism below a triangular prism. So I'm going to find the volume of this top prism first, and that's area of the base times height. And again, the base is the triangle. So I have to find the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2, this is 35 here. So 1/2 35 times 20, that's area of the base. And the height of the prism is going to be this distance here, which is 10 centimeters times 10. So 1/2 times 35 times 20 times 10 gives me a volume of 3,500 cubic centimeters, and that's the volume of that top triangular prism. And then the bottom rectangular prism here is, again, area of the base times height. So length times width times height. So 10 centimeters times 35 centimeters times 20 centimeters. There's length, width, and height times 20. 10 times 35 times 20 is 7,000 cubic centimeters. And then again, talk to my good buddy Adam. I'm going to add them up to give me my total volume of 10,500 cubic centimeters. So there you have it. Finding the volume of composite solids. So if you know how to find the volume of our simple solids, composite solids is just a couple more steps and you should have it no problem.